Welcome to another Caldwell Conversation. I'm April Hedman, Enrollment Director here at Caldwell Academy, and today I get to sit down with one of our parents, Ben Thomas. He is my Freya. I have two sons here at Caldwell, junior and senior year this year.
Right.
So depth of experience. I'd like to walk through your story a little bit.
Sure.
How did you and Freya decide this is it?
Good question. Trying to think back to when we started, my wife Freya was very adamant about the environment. She had recently run across an NPR article about how many hours, almost 11,000 hours, that kids spend in school, and so she was really insistent on ensuring that the environment we put our children in is a way of pre-selecting their peers and where they're going to spend a lot of their time. So that was a really important part of our search, and we felt like when we visited Caldwell, we had a sense of the community, we had a sense of the support, and a lot of the principles that Caldwell has are the things that we believed in. We were also very impressed with not only the classical education, but that piece that we knew little of really then in combination with the faith. Our faith was not very strong at the beginning of attending Caldwell, and there was a really good acceptance of those that had a strong faith and those that had little faith. And we felt that that mixture, along with that classical education piece, was super important.
I like to hear that. That's a great summary of your thoughts. Tell me about your experience. I mean, there's so much to say, I'm sure, after 13 years.
Yeah.
But some of your experiences as parents and your boys' experience, what would you shed light on?
I think I'd start with, especially during the grammar school years, that community came true. The support that the community on the whole offered between moms groups or the partnership of the teachers and the administration with us as parents was certainly there. Our teachers' ability here at Caldwell to speak the children's love languages, and if they need a hug or an encouragement during the day, that's what they get. And so that environment has been pretty substantial. I think it's been enlightening to also watch what happens at Caldwell with regard to morality and truth. It's things that aren't taught. It's just seeped into the curriculum and the way the teachers interact with the children. That's been very important. And another aspect that I love to talk about is the teaching of the whole brain. I'm an engineer by training, very intellectual on that side, but you need the EQ and the IQ. When one of my sons was bored early in grammar school, we would tell him, "Son, you're going to school to get your EQ developed as much as your IQ." And I just can't think of many schools that balance that out as well as Caldwell does. Lastly, I would say our experience has been Caldwell's prepared our kids for life really well. I think that's one thing we've learned about the Trivium is that it was originally to create good citizens.
That's right.
And I think that we've certainly done that with Caldwell's help. We believe we've created some good citizens in our kids, and whether they choose to go to college, which we do believe they will, or in life in general.
Let's build on that. Going to college.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a senior, he's graduating. Looks like he might be going to Anderson University.
Right.
Tell me that story. How did that come about?
Yeah, it's been interesting. We call it in the family just paying attention to God's flow and managing to get in there. Really quick meeting with Mr. Christian, the college advisor, about what schools we should be looking at. And I said, he's going to be a mechanical engineer. It's what he wants to do. Within 5 hours, that's where my, Alistair's choice was to stay close to home. Where would you look? And he said, well, gosh, there's so many schools, and there's Anderson, but Anderson doesn't have a mechanical engineering program. Okay, well, kind of back of the thought. Got home, on the counter was an Anderson flyer. So I picked up the flyer, I dialed it into the computer. Turns out they're starting a mechanical engineering program next year. So took the tour, met with the dean of students, and it was just again, environment. Seemed like Caldwell at the college level. A lot of attention to detail. And I think Alistair, from his part, we've told him, look, son, it's your choice. We feel very comfortable that Caldwell is partnering with us to put us in a position to let him choose. And he is I think almost there to that final choice at this time of year. One of the things that he said was he really enjoyed and has learned to like this environment where you have a freedom to express your religious preference and talk about it and be in your faith.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key reasons he's looking at, which is pretty cool that I have a senior that's willing to balance his decision on not only academics and career, but an environment. So
that is super cool.
thanks to Caldwell.
You have great kids.
Thank you.
Love your family. Thank you for doing this with me today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us for this Caldwell Conversation. I'd love to welcome you if you're interested. Hey, what does Caldwell have to offer? I'd love for you to schedule a tour. Come by. I'd love to meet you.